hello, my sweet. So won't you come with me? There's oh so much to show in this grimdark distillery. So if you like bullshit or want some hobby tips, this nightmare priest, nigh and binary herald magnificent welcomes you. Hello, my sweets. Hi, Possum. Hi, Mowgli. How are you all? I'm running a little bit late today. And my desk was a whole lot messier, but it's gotten a little cleaned up since then. So pretty much, bring you guys all up to speed, I've been working on everything I need for the Fall of Rothenburg, which includes my demo board for streaming that. So this is all scenery from 3D layered scenery. Big fan of their stuff. They made the Greendale that I'm using for the Trench Crusade stuff. There's a whole bunch more. Whole bunch more stuff. So that's pretty much what I'm going to be working on today. I'm trying to get this painted and whatnot so we can run through that campaign, that story, on Thursdays in the evening section. Anywho, so I've got all of those textured. I didn't mean to just shout. Sorry about that. I'm training someone today, so I'll be in and out. Okay, Possum. No, I'm sorry, Mowgli. I missed you all as well. I did not realize, like, oh man, so my wife works for the government job. And that means that she has like federal holidays. So that's why I mentioned that. So when she is at home, I typically am trying to spend time with her, and typically I sleep in. But I can absolutely start doing those on those days as well if people really need that. Because I get it, I am not part of the federal government, so I don't really see. We need holidays. I'm not saying we don't need holidays. That's not what I'm saying. I'm getting derailed. So yeah, pretty much I got all those textured, and then I'm going to start painting them today, and then I've got to start working on building all of the models that I need. Okay. My wife just texted me. Let's see, where was I going with all this? Oh yeah, I do have some stuff to show you. Also, that scaffold, the scaffold is from Hexbricks. Shout out my boy Bartos. Absolutely love his work. All of his models are amazing. This is from the cathedral. It's the scaffolding. So, most recent pieces. It took forever to print out everything I needed for the Fall of Rothenburg, but I've got it all done. So now I'm back to the cathedral before I start. I really kind of want to finish printing the cathedral before I start printing all the stuff for 1490 Doom to play like at events and stuff. 4 boards is a lot of stuff to work on. But this is I want to say the facade, or it's the transept. But it's very cool. Very cool big piece of the building. Yeah, for scale, it's really big. Definitely excited. Always excited whenever I get another piece printed for the cathedral. Yeah, I've been really pumped about that, thinking about that and all the things we're going to do with it. There's just so many things you can do with a giant 7.5 by 5.5 foot board that you can break apart into a whole bunch of pieces. Think of all the activities. So yeah, today we are going to be working on grief. Where'd it go? Where the hell did grief go? There you are. You goofball. Ha! Classic grief. You got me. Also found that apparently I did not cut one of the wires under there. Also, I've got a tip for anybody that fucks up on their filament that I can show. It does look extremely suspicious, though. I will state that out the gate. So I did not think to look into. Roz a while back posted or sent a link to a tool that essentially reconnects filament. And I thought about what you really need to do that. Oh yeah, no, all that stuff is so sturdy. I love all of those prints. So in order to get filament to connect back together after you've made the silly decision to cut it, you essentially need to reconnect that. And the easiest way to do that is going to be through heat, which I have not run this yet. But I did it outside of this. This is just literally a piece of copper pipe. And the idea being that if you take a lighter or any other flame source, I'm going to use a heat gun. But the initial test that I did to test my theory was just a lighter. I held two pieces of this together with a lighter, warmed it up a little bit, and wouldn't you know it, the plastic merged back together. And the reason that I did not use glue of any kind is because it has to go through my printer, and the printer uses heat as is. So that was the idea behind it. But now I'm thinking that if I warm up this brass tube, it should merge it, and I don't have to directly put the flames on the filament. So I'll let you know how that goes and see if we can get this thing reconnected so I can just put it in the AMS and not have to worry about it. Because it is a pain in the ass trying to feed it through the back. I did that for a little bit, and I printed out one column successfully. Sorry, a pillar. Maybe it's a column. No, these are pillars. Let's label as pillars. So I printed out this successfully. And then I started to print this one. It's supposed to be a lot taller. And the reason that it stopped is because I had the filament hanging on the back where the filament extruder goes. But I didn't have it on a wheel, which that's a key part. Because if you don't put it on a wheel, it's going to just keep pulling. And if it decides to bird nest, it's going to get really difficult to remove it without cutting it again, because it's just going to keep pulling. But even weirder, the printer just kind of loses its mind and it thinks it's still printing even though it doesn't have enough filament. So you get this long piece of spaghetti, and then it just kind of stops right here. So yeah, very messy. Not good. Not good. I don't regret cutting it. I regret not doing the thing right initially. And I won't ever make that mistake again because there are too many little spools of filament all over my basement now. And I'm just like, man, I could use that filament for something. A lot of things. I hate that it's just in a million pieces now. So, anywho. Oh, Greeblin. They are going hard this morning. Greeblin's got about 26 minutes before it's done, so at some point in time that's going to happen. And we'll take a peep at what's inside. Spaghetti. 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 I love a good spaghetti. I do love spaghetti, but I also really love Tim and Eric. So I'm just going to clip that since I forgot about it. That's going to fly off. This is where you need an extra set of hands. But I don't have those. Well, I mean, I've got a lot of extra hands. I don't have more than 2 hands. Grief. What are we going to do to you today, my friend? I'm thinking it's time I can start working on the face. That sounds fun. I think we've earned it, eh, Grief? So let's get some gloves on because we're going to need to make some epoxy. Epoxy green. Actually, I think I already have some made. I'm going to go grab it and warm it up in just a second. Pro tip. It's not my pro tip. This comes from the OG himself, Mr. Pink, a.k.a. Modern Synthesist, a.k.a. my buddy up north, a.k.a. that crazy Canadian. He might not like all the other AKAs that I just gave him, but that's a gift. They're not always what you want, but a gift can be a gift. I love Nick. He's great. Anywho, I gotta warm up this epoxy green. Pretty much, I roll it into a ball. I'm not gonna stand right next to the sink because that sucks. So essentially, hey Theo, what are you doing? He's just in the brooding chair over here in the dark, brooding. What a good boy. Alrighty. Aha, okay. Warm enough. Warm enough or hardly warm, am I right? No, it's warm enough. Okay. Anywho, boop, boop, boop. Beep, beep, beep. Man, I'm on here all the time preaching about what I think. And like one of the big things is like clean up your workspace when you're done. And I never do it. There's just too much stuff to do. It's the time thing. I can't stress. Time is your most valuable commodity. And I feel like I've been very painfully aware of that all my life because I'm just like, I don't have enough time to do anything. Alrighty. My trip to LA ruled. People recognized the model I commissioned for you and I showed them a picture. Hell yeah. Wonderful. I'm very glad to hear that. Face off. Man, I'm hoping this is not too far gone. Hell yeah. I'm glad you had a good trip to LA. I'm glad you guys had some good games. Anything more narrative this time, or was it still trying to get in the swing of it? Man, this stuff might be too far gone, but that's okay. It gets to be part of the base. Rub, rub, rub. Alrighty. I gotta clean my desk today. I have to clean my desk, or the desk police are gonna come and get me. I synced it in a dream. That's good. Okay. No, but we talked about narrative stuff. I only played one game the whole 6 hours, though. Nice. Was it a fun 6-hour game? Or I guess you don't have to technically play. I know all about that life, though. That's absolutely how our previous gaming group was. It takes so long to get through a game. Just because a lot of people don't. If you make a good rule set that the rules are logical and simplistic enough, it's a lot easier for people to stay focused and stay attentive. The game only took like an hour. Okay, well that's good then. There you go. Yeah, this is definitely not good enough to... It's gotten too hard. Which that is definitely not, I don't think, due to freezing it. That's due to me not freezing it when I should have. I worked with it for a long time, and then I was like, oh, I'm not going to finish this. So I'll put it up. Where can use some green stuff? And epoxy sculpt detail. Oh, right in there. Hee hee. Get in there. Poke, poke, poke. Yeah, no, I definitely get that vibe. And again, it's so much as just the hangs. The hangs is so much like a part of just the whole vibe, which is why it's just like, man, everybody's got to be on the same page. We all want to just hang out and have a fun time, right? When you get people that are like, I don't know, there's just definitely, you can tell people's intentions with gaming, at least I can, pretty quickly, with what they bring to the table to either start playing or the ideas that they're proposing. You can kind of tell who is about what pretty early on. Well, at least I can. You gotta be aware, open-minded, but know some bullshit when you see it. Yeah. Erg. Good morning, Atri. Welcome, welcome. Erg. It's the Tuesday. How was Nova? I'm sure it was very, very, very good. I'm still trying to catch up on all the pictures I saw from everybody. Yeah, the rest of the time it was just making kissy faces with my boys. That's it. I mean, just pushing some more dollies around, making them give each other smooches. That's what it's all about. I'm all about that life. Nova was awesome. Sadly, I have to go to work now. No, well, but have a good day. Thanks for stopping by. saying hi. No, Nova is 100% on my plans for next year. Also, I found out that there's apparently going to be some kind of convention near me. Uh, so that's fun. A buddy of mine sent me a link to it. It's in October. The Bourbon City Brawl in Shepherdsville. So I messaged them and asked, hey, I would love to show up and bring some boards to demo 1490. And I'll wait to see what they say. Hopefully they're there for it. If not, what the heck? What is Nova? So Nova is the, I'm going to look up the actual definition because I don't want to misquote what Nova is. Nova, the Nova Open stands for, maybe it doesn't stand for anything. It definitely has got to stand for something, right? North, nope, I don't know. It's a tabletop gaming, okay, the Nova Open is a Washington, D.C. area tabletop gaming convention with a strong focus on organized play, charity, hobby seminars, and social connection. So yeah, that is what Nova is. Now, what Nova stands for, I don't know. Northern Virginian. Is that really it? Is that really it? I don't know. I can't tell. I never know. I never know if that's it because that's an interesting. It makes sense. Why is O there? Because wouldn't that be? Sounds fun. Yeah, I heard a lot of wonderful things from my many friends who attended it. I was very sad that I did not get to go this year, but I got stuff I got to do to make sure that I am able to stay on my deadlines, which is why, oh boy, I tried to start setting up a Patreon yesterday, and I got really disheartened because of how absolutely difficult it is to figure out where I need to go to do what I'm trying to do to set it up, because they have things underneath tabs that don't really make sense with what they say they are, like trying to delete one of the accounts that you accidentally made because when you logged in with Google, it just made you an account. Instead of using, the one that you always had. I gotta love technology. Which I do. It's just, I like technology that is thought through and doesn't just make poor decisions for me. I like to make my own poor decisions. I get overwhelmed easily. If it wasn't for my girl, my bills would be backed up. Yeah, that's so. I also am I'm very easy to overwhelm. I am a super agoraphobe, hermit, so it's just like big spaces with lots of people definitely overwhelm me, and then not understanding or having the ability to figure out, like not having the tools to figure out what I'm doing wrong. I often place the blame on myself, which is, I guess, where a lot of my beef comes with a lot of companies these days, because of things like pushing out updates to software that have not been properly tested. And that is unfortunately a thing that just happens all over the technology world, because, oh boy, that stuff is utterly rampant. In my former world of employment, the amount of people that don't have any idea what they're actually doing, but make the tools for people who do not listen to the people who use the tools, and then make solutions for problems that don't exist, that fundamentally break how it's all supposed to work, because again, they do not understand enough to properly make the tool. That is something that is very frustrating, because as the person that I am, I often go into it assuming I'm the problem. Maybe I just haven't learned how to use it yet. Maybe I have not. Maybe I am messing up. So whenever it comes down to, oh no, that's a known issue, we still just have the software update as the first thing you see when you get on our website. We know there's an issue. that's just giving so little shits like that. It's infuriating to me. Willful ignorance or complacency is just one of the most offensive things to me. Simply because we now have the tools to learn whatever we really want with the internet. Uh, so to not look up what you're curious about learning about is just very frustrating because it's like I don't know how to tell you to use the tools you've been given. But when the tools that you've been given are being pretty much made into a sick version of themselves, it's very, very frustrating. Um, I give her the money to pay for me. If that's me. Yeah, it makes me click off and deal with it later. That's it. Yes, no, though. The net has been shitified. Yeah, so that's also the thing. Part of me, I absolutely love and hate the internet because it is what it is, and it is what it is because of what it is. It's just the amount of people that like think, oh, we can fix things by just blocking porn sites. That's not how the internet works. Like, it's such a fundamental misunderstanding of what the internet is that it's just silly. And I'm picking that just because that is like one of the biggest ones that has been up in roar lately. That I'm just like, wow, that's dumb. You don't know how any of this works, do you? Um, and it was very funny in my previous job because it's just like, it's a little difficult to stay calm in a room when you're just like, man, I know that everyone in here is an idiot. They don't understand what they're talking about. Uh, but you got to put on the mask. Let them find out. They want to fuck around. I say let them find out. I just hate that I have to find out with them. I don't want to find out. I already know. That's my take on that. You can apply it to most things. Fucking labor. Ah, yes, because porn is issue. That's it. Like it's the. I can't stress enough the desire to want to put solutions to very poorly thought through problem solving is, again, it's another form of willful ignorance. Um, and the most, not to talk too much about my previous job, but I think one of the biggest glaring issues that I understood, I was like, man, you guys are just, we're not speaking even the same language. Was there was an issue in the tower could only be worked on X and day, on X day after X time, because someone was using it as like a radio station, and we knew that when we bought it. So, which that was dumb on their part. That wasn't my choice. So when it comes time to need to fix something because there's some very, very, very bad stuff going on, engineering wise, again, people not understanding how things that they do affect other people, they were like, oh, I think it's just this. And it's just like, okay, I understand that. We need to look at the whole picture, because if we only can touch this thing once every 2 weeks, shouldn't we try to figure out everything that could be wrong instead of just assuming it's this one thing, which is probably a problem, but it's not the whole picture? And someone pretty much took it upon themselves to go home and do a science experiment where they proved like one of Newton's first fucking laws. And it's just like, I'm not debating with you fundamental parts of our knowledge. I'm saying you need to look past that, because problems are often multifaceted, especially if you have a deadline that you're trying to keep. It's just that I like solving a problem and taking care of all of the issues when I think about things, as opposed to just one part of it. If I'm already going to take the time to work on something, I don't want to half-ass it. I don't half-ass anything. That's it. Anything that I care about. That's a better phrase. I half-ass a lot of stuff. Stuff that's not important to me. So yeah, I'm not saying that you shouldn't half-ass things that are not important to you. I'm just yapping. You guys know I'm a yapper. We've been there. Y'all know this isn't your first rodeo. They didn't troubleshoot? Oh no. Well, see, that's the thing is like I think troubleshooting really, it starts before you begin because you have to know what tools you need. You have to know how long it's probably going to take. There's so many factors that go into planning before you start to do the thing that you have to be prepared for what if an issue happens. And that's it. It's just the amount of reactionary troubleshooting that our world does. Boss makes $1, I make a dime. I half-ass shit on company time. That's it. Can't stress that enough. Google blocks what they don't want you seeing. Yeah, Google making their search engine worse for profit is like the biggest deal. I can't stress enough how much I agree with that. Uh, it's it's frustrating. It's frustrating when you realize that like world problems are not world problems. They're world choices. Essentially, the people that are controlling that are choosing to let things happen like that because they think that money is the answer, which is very wild because like I've definitely had more than I needed to be happy, and it's exponentially less than I think 99% of people would assume. Uh, I don't know. The things that make me happy don't cost me having to not solve world hunger if I have the answer for it. That's just my hot take on it. I don't know. I can't imagine what I would. Again, like when I think of like, oh, what would I do? I don't know. Like the most obscene thing I can think of is like I build a big labyrinth to play around in. That won't take enough. I could still probably fix world hunger with the amount of money. Like if you were in the top 1%. That's just my take. I just want to be comfortable, and that makes me happy. Yeah, wasn't the diminishing return threshold at 100,000? Yeah, I can't stress enough how much that absolutely makes sense. And the amount of people that I've met that have been just clearly chasing that and have exceeded that threshold, and they don't understand why they're not happy, is so high. I cannot stress enough. It is absolutely. I've met one lizard person in my life, and they are one of the most scary things I've ever seen. It is the closest thing to a human puppet. Just someone that is fully in. They're fully in. They drank the Kool-Aid. They believe the idea of, yeah, just don't be a human and just take advantage of other people, and you'll get money, and then you'll be successful. And that's just, I cannot stress enough how utterly wrong that is. Because it's just like, man, no amount of money is gonna make you feel happy if you don't even feel like a human being. And I can't imagine that you would feel like a human being if every response that you give to people has to be scripted to make sure that it doesn't hurt you financially. It's yeah, it's a circle. It's a circle that sucks to be in, trying to use money to make yourself happy. Know thyself. That's what it comes down to. Yeah, sorry, I'm not trying to be preachy. I'm just speaking my truths. If anyone gets anything from it, that's the only goal. Grief, you are so silly, man. Grief's like, hey, you want to hear another good joke? I'm just like, sure, Grief, tell me. Yuck, 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 yuck. I can't talk for Grief. I'm not allowed to have puppets. Which also, apologies to the person at Adepticon this year who had a puppet that I was very, very excited to meet. And I said that this is not a safe place for me. I can't be around puppets. And they were like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to traumatize you. And I was like, oh, no. I mean like that. It's like, I'm not allowed to be engaging with puppets because my sanity is not firmly enough in this world to draw the line at when should I stop talking to that puppet? They're good. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of ventriloquism. I support the art. Bring a puppet to on the show. That I would love to. I'm not allowed to make one. I that is one of the few things that's just like, yeah, that is a slippery slope that I'm very, very aware of, and I'm not even going to play with it because it's just like I become the creepy, crazy guy who has a puppet all the time way too quick. That is that's definitely a beta conundrum. Betta. Oh no! Grief! I've blinded you. Grief's got a blind eye to the past, but that actually makes a lot of sense and is very upsetting. But yeah, sorry, Grief, you're getting your eye back. Oh, Grief. Yeah, that really sums up. Like I always loved the symbolism in the Aquila of the Imperium of Man from Warhammer being an eagle blind to the past because it really sums up the Imperium of Man, a hopeless society on the edge of death that cannot fix itself and did not want to look back enough to fix its actual problems. Uh, that's one of the big draws I've always had to the setting. All right, Grief. This hurts me more than it hurts you. Typically. Sometimes I miss. I drill my hand, which that sucked. It took a while, but it's finally starting to heal. I'm not going to take this glove off. You already know what my hands look like. Oh, Anna wanted me to ask you if you've watched Kippo. I have not. You mean Jim Henson, huh? I do. I do mean Tim Henson. Yes. The Henson? Man, I love puppets. I love them so much. I also like that they get scarier the more you don't use them. Like if you like leave a puppet in like a warehouse and then go back for it like a year later, it's gonna look so disheveled and like creepy. The pictures of the like Sesame Street like warehouse that was abandoned is definitely I'm a fan. I'm a fan of seeing it because it's just like, wow, this is some horror that I was not expecting at all. I didn't expect you to be like, yo, you want to see Snuffleupagus? And be like, oh God, no, I changed my mind. But that's what's up. No, I've not seen Kippo. I don't think. What is Kippo? I did watch some movies that I have recommendations for, glowing recommendations. The first one is Together. I really liked it. I liked it a lot. It'd be a big thumbs up from me. And then the other one, I'm gonna look up Kippo. What is Kippo? Kippo. Kippo. All right. Yeah. Kippo movie. Is that the one? No, this is not what I'm thinking of. This is not what I'm thinking of at all, but this looks great. This looks great. Yeah, I'll check that out. I'm in. That sounds wonderful. Tell Anna I said thank you. If I was working in a puppet warehouse and one went missing, I would quit. Oh, I can't stress enough. That's the best choice. That's the best choice. And I will explain for anyone who does not know why that's the best choice. Number one, you've got a crazy coworker that stole a puppet. That's almost certain what's happened. You don't want to mess with someone like that. You don't want to be in like the same. That's some unhinged behavior. Number two, might be some ghost shit. You don't want to mess with that. You don't want to mess with puppets getting up and moving around. So I have a member of my family that they're very young and they've started to take a very strong interest into animatronics, and I cannot stress enough how much I support that. Both are equally terrifying. I can't stress enough how much I fully support a child being like, man, I'm just gonna get really into animatronics. It's just like that's gonna be really fun. Like they're gonna, if you discover that you like building animatronics at a young age, I'm ready to see the wildness that you let upon this world. Help your kids grow up to be animatronic creators. Let's make Spooky stuff. Or just stuff that's like that. That's a puppet, right? Nope, it's alive. It's alive. The other movie was Freaky Tales. I really liked Freaky Tales. With Pedro Pascal, who's always a delight. But yeah, if you're looking for a wild, fun romp, a violent, wild, fun romp, I can't recommend that one enough. It's the green room I wanted. World War Z. Favorite quote of mine. What movie would you make a puppet version of? Only one character gets to stay as a human. Okay, man. Okay. World War Z. I have not watched World War Z. I loved the book, and I think that's the thing. Is like, I was too off. Like, I was caught off guard by how they would make that into a movie. And then I kind of saw Brad Pitt was in it, and I was like, oh, okay, it's not about the book. Which, if you want to know what movie upsets me the most with their take, it's an easy choice. It would be I Am Legend. I was gonna say He Is Legend. I Am Legend. I Am Legend is one of my favorite stories, and they messed up that story to about as much as you can, that it's not even recognizable. The similarities are there's a man and a dog and a plague, and that's it. And the dog is in it for just seconds, and it's so much more impactful than the movie because it shows you how truly little the man has when the greatest day of his life in years, like he's not kept track of time because there's no point. Actually, that might be a mistake. He might be keeping track of time because he thinks that someone needs to. But on a day, one day, he sees the first thing that he could have as a friend, and he scares it away, and that he becomes obsessed with trying to get this thing to come back to him, to show it that he is not the boogeyman. And it doesn't come back. And it's the level of true dread and horror in that is very good. It's tragic at a level that is just painful for like a reader. I love good horror. I like that the virus had a hive mind and wouldn't infect us. Yeah, no, that's cool. The Apostle and the only main character is a human. That's good. Damn, I'm reading the book. Yeah, I cannot stress enough. It is a novella, so it's a shorter book. But Richard Matheson, he is one of the gods of horror. Like, he really inspired a lot of really prominent horror writers. And his work is just excellent. As far as horror goes, I don't know anything about personal lives, stuff like that. I'm talking about just the art. Which, man, I got way too pumped talking to my wife yesterday about the secrets of ventriloquism. I was talking to Broken Toys on Instagram, and they were like, "Thank you for the shout out on that book. I've started to read it, and it's already just amazing." The lobotomy machine, but it's just red yarn flying out of the Muppet. Oh my god! I don't know if they are better adaptations, but 2 other movies for I Am Legend, I believe. Oh, well, those I can't imagine that they were anything like the newest one. So that might be something I should look out. But that is, you don't even understand. Like, the movie makes it to where the title doesn't fucking make any sense, which is so offensive to me as like a lover of the art of storytelling, and the lover especially of a good horror story. And the best part of that is the end, and it's the last line. I'm gonna make sure I have that because it's so fucking good. I just kind of want to read it to you. The last line of that book is so fucking heavy. I don't think I still have that. I think it got flooded. Yeah, I think that was one of the books that I had to get rid of because it got too wet. sad. But essentially, the story is about vampires. It's a vampire story. It doesn't have to do with, like, the plague is vampirism. And the main character is the boogeyman. He becomes the boogeyman to vampires. He is what comes in the night, daytime, their night, and kills them. He takes their family away. And it's such a good observational level of horror. But at the very end, he gets I don't want to ruin anything. I don't want to ruin anything for you. It's so heavy. Such a good rec. Got through the more of the series stories this morning. Hell yeah. That I was going on a tangent about that yesterday to my wife, because it is when we were talking about it, I was just like, it is not a book. I can't say it's a book. It is a work of art, and I do very thoroughly believe that the intended way to experience it is through audio, because it's everything about his performance reading it, the intonation, the tone, lets me know that that was the intent, that it's supposed to put you into a very uncomfortable space that nothing has ever made me feel like that before. It almost insists upon itself to be in that format, because that's just how the best way to experience the true dread and the horror of what the book is and what ventriloquism is. And that's something that I've always found wonderful. It's the same reason, like, jesters, harlequins, clowns, they've always been something that I've loved in our history as a species, because they're so other and we're drawn to them. Like, it's the same thing with bagmen, like the boogeyman, the bogeyman. It comes from the archetype is bagman. It's a man with a bag. It's a man with a bag that takes your future. And that it's just such a good archetype that I fear is often done wrong, because it's very easy to take the fear out of something that is too scary, because a lot of people do not want to experience that, because it makes you think, and a lot of people don't like to think when it comes to horror, because they realize how fragile everything is. And that's part of why I love horror so much. That's part of why I love to make what I make, because I love to make people think. But yeah, that book, I got to the indoor swamp, and the indoor swamp is the first time in years that I have gotten chills like I did with that. Like, I'd never experienced anything like that, but I've been like really, really, really in the horror that I'm like, oh my God, I hate this and I don't want it to keep going. But I think honestly, probably the last time I experienced anything that was like that was like Hereditary. But it was just, it's the same kind of vibe in a completely different form of media. I don't know. It's a work of art. And I really, really, really recommend you experience it. I can't speak enough praises, and I cannot wait for more from John Padgett. Just so good. It's so worth your time. I promise that. If you like horror, it is one of the best horror stories I have experienced in a long time. Together was good. It was very body horror, and that's just, I love body horror, as you can probably tell. So I'm out of the epoxy green that was too hard. So now I'm going to make some more, but I'm not going to make too much, because I do that often, and then I use some of it and the rest of it gets too hard, and then we're back where we were. There's a lot of detail on phonetics in this Secret of Ventriloquism. They're so suited to the audio. That's it. It is truly I say he is a master of horror, because he does not just think about one thing to really, I think, especially in like our world now, we're all so desensitized to things, and appreciating the way that you say things, how you say things, is so important to storytelling. It's just I don't know, I don't think I've been that taken back by a storyteller since I was in elementary school, and I first learned about shadow puppets. We had a lady. She was, I have no idea what her name was, but she was very big in, I guess, the art community. Like, again, I know nothing about that because like I was a child. I was like 8, but I was mind blown by the puppets that she made, and they were just, flat puppets that you put light behind, but it was such a realistic, symbolic kind of depicting of like storytelling that it was very clearly, it wasn't television. It was someone made something, someone is using that thing to tell a story, and it clearly stuck with me. Uh, but yeah, the shadow puppets, which ironically are 2 dimensional, and like I try to add as much detail and whatnot to what I show you, but that's because there's so much more that I can't show you. They're supposed to be alive. They're supposed to be characters. But if I give you enough to see, and I don't have my voice to tell you what it is or what you're supposed to interpret it, I feel like that's the goal, is to give them enough that I don't have to. You just look at it and you already kind of start to put together a story. And that's what I think when I look at art, I try to see what sense is it using to convey its message, um, and what senses is it not, because that's the absence of direction in certain places means that the emphasis on that, or the emphasis even stronger on other aspects. I love art. I love art so much. Um, that's really what it comes down to, in really most forms. Audio has always been one of my favorites. Uh, Storytelling is a blend of imagination and the craft of talking, which, as a professional yapper, uh, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of a very good storyteller. Make some push molds for excess putty. So I've got some, but I knew that I was going to have to use that to fill in some spots. So it's just more of a, I know I'm going to have to use it. Where could I use that? But I don't need to have as tight of detail. Um, yeah, have you seen Old Boy? Oh, I love Old Boy. I'm trying to remember what movie we just watched, or we added to our list, because it was just like from the director of Old Boy. It's just like, I love Korean cinema. Um, I can't stress enough, like, and I mean specifically, I've not seen the American version of Old Boy. I don't really have an interest in it, just because there's no way it can be better than the original. The original is also the hammer scene. The scene, it is, at the time, I'm sure it's been surpassed, but it was the longest consecutive shot. Like, the hallway scene where he's just fighting like 50 dudes in a hallway, uh, with with a hammer, and it just kind of tracks down. It's just like, it's clearly a master of film. Like, you cannot even envision how to start doing that without such an understanding of your craft. It's just, you can tell when someone knows what they're doing with a camera, and it does not require CGI. It does not require computers. I mean, well, to some extent, yes, but it's just, knowing and respecting your own craft enough to do things that clearly don't make any sense to other people, but have an effect like that scene did on film, are just, that's art. Like, yeah, and that gets me so pumped. It gets me so pumped when someone does something like that. Uh, but yeah, I love Old Boy. Old Boy. That's, I don't know why I said that weird in my throat. Uh, but yeah, I love Old Boy. One of my favorites in that genre is, is it The Man from Nowhere? Pretty sure it's The Man from Nowhere. Which the other day I looked up what that thing had on Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb, and I'm like, yep, that adds up. It's just stupid how good of like reviews it has. But that is a wonderful film. If you like really violent, horrifying films, uh, that one is just so good. There's a there's a line that he says right before he like assaults like all the dudes, the big bads. But I want to say it's I'm going to grind you up, but keep the teeth because I'm a pawn shop owner, and that is a level of like brutal honesty and horror in its like threat that it's just like that's fucked. And then you're just like, man, these are terrible people. Do it, bro. I'm here for it. Yeah, that is what the movie Nobody is essentially, I'm assuming, paying homage to, but The Man from Nowhere. Because it's the same story. It's somebody that, that and like the very first time you're like, man, this guy, yeah, with in the scene where he's talking to the guy on the roof with the dog. Yeah, but keep the teeth. Yep, but keep the teeth. Because I'm a pawn shop owner. It's because he's going to sell the gold in their teeth. Like that's where he is in his involvement in the situation, and that is a very, very horrifying thing to like just be like, yep, that's where we're at, and that's I'm sure where the story goes. Doesn't really get into that, but ow, pulled that off too hard. That and there's a scene where a like the badass of the bad dudes like security detachment shoots someone in an apartment with the main character and then like another goon, and after they leave the guy's just like, what's wrong? He's just like, did you see him? And he was like, no, I did what? And he's just like, he didn't blink. It's just like that's I really appreciated just the highlighting of how that is something that is so inhuman and not even animal like, that if you can be in a room and have the ability to not feel what is going to force your eyes closed just from like the blinding light, the sound, it's the amount of overwhelming that is that's horrifying. That's a monster. And just that line alone, that's the first time I'd ever heard anything like that. But I think there's something similar things like that in you know Nobody and stuff like that. But that is truly an inhuman thing, is not blinking during something like that that literally forces your eyeballs closed. But yeah, no, real gnarly. I love Korean cinema. I guess specifically there's a whole like genre of like, and it's not always Korean, but Asian cinema typically has a lot more, but it's just like real gritty, dark, no holds bar. Like it's just like it shows you how rough stuff is without trying to pull away. Movies like I Saw the Devil, Antichrist. I love that though. Yeah, no, it's I love it. I love that kind of horror, and that really is. It threads the line because that movie is horrifying on every aspect. It's horrifying that there are people out there doing what the bad guys do, and it's horrifying that there is a quote unquote good person out there doing what the hero of the movie does, because it puts you at a point where you're like, I don't know. It's a movie about monsters fighting monsters, which that's life. But it's real. That's it. That's what I mean. It's life. Like it makes you see the world gray. That's it. It makes you see the world gray. There are people that do bad things for blatantly bad reasons, and then there are monsters that the society has made that can do very good things if they have to. But it's just horrifying on a level of like it's too real. That's it. It's too real. That is what fucked me up about Green Room. is I am so used to being pandered to that when I see somebody make a movie that knows what they're talking about, and there's no way to make it clear that you know what they're talking about other than by building that story. And this is all related to storytelling. This is why I appreciate that movie. You could not make that movie if you did not grow up in a punk or hardcore scene legitimately, because the amount of detail, attention to detail in that movie for things that other people will not appreciate is what makes that situation so unsettlingly real for me that it's just like, fuck, I have literally been at that point where it's just like, I don't know where the fuck I even am. I'm going to go play at this venue. I know nobody there. I'm just hoping they're good people because I'm a good person. And it's just like the amount of fragility that that movie shows and how everything just is held together is just really, really horrifying. And then eventually, it trails off into just like revenge porn. But like the premise of the movie is so utterly horrifying to me because how utterly real it is. And I've not experienced a movie like that except for movies that typically are about isolation and about your mind working against you or people in isolation coming after you. And those are the movies that scare me the most. And they have to be done well enough that I believe them, or that I can relate to them. And that's why there's so many horror movies that just off-put me, because it's just like, this is too unrealistic of a scenario that you're expecting me to pretend like is real. Yeah, that's if yeah, especially, I can't stress enough. I think different people will get different things out of it, but everyone that I've talked to in the 28 scene that was like very clearly like, again, it looks like a hardcore show got canceled and you guys just came across the street and started a convention. They will get it. They're like, that movie's fucked. It's just because like it really does make you realize how unsafe places that you thought were safe are, and how quickly, against your will, you can be thrown into a situation that you have nothing in other than trying to do the right thing, and that puts a target on your back. And that is so real and horrifying that it's just, yeah, that is, it is the hardest horror for like me, for people to pull off, I think, is to make a situation feel so real. And that's really what Hereditary did for me. And that I can't stress, that's, I'm not a possession or a ghost or a spooky fan, but if I can tell that you did research about the real occult and you show it in spades, you have my attention, and I'm going to play in that world with you. Like an old boy, he spends years before he even thinks of breaking through the wall, and it takes months breaking the wall just to find another. Then when he breaks the second wall, they free him anyway. That is horrifying. That is horrifying to a level of, it's just like, it's just soul crushing, and that's what it would do. That's what it would do. It would turn you into an animal. Like, and that's I think movies like that are hard to watch, very hard to watch, but very important for the message that they are sending. And I can't stress, that's all I got from Martyrs, like the original, like not the remake, but the original French film Martyrs. A lot of people really don't like it because it is a hard movie to watch. It's a very hard movie to watch. And if you enjoy any part of it, like, man, I like what I just saw, there's something fucked up with you. But like, appreciating and liking something are two very different things. And the pure horror in that film is very, 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 very high. It's a hard film to watch, but the concept behind it is one of the most frightening concepts I've ever seen. And it absolutely feels very real at a certain point. Freaky Tales is not on the same level of like Green Room, and it's like a much more fun romp, but it definitely highlights different aspects of life that I think a lot of people can relate to, and unites them against a common enemy. And I'm here for that. And that is where it has similarities to Green Room. I got holes in my lips. Not really, it's just one. But like, you know, it's hard to keep all the coffee in. I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick. I've got to pee. But I will be right back, and then we will get back to grief. I just have been yapping. And we're back. Bum, bum, bum. Porpoise hands? Whoa. We got a yapper on porpoise hands. Our on purpose hands. On porpoise hands. Porpoise hands activate. Form of my hands. Form of human hands. All right, here we go. Yeah, that sucked. Don't drill into your hands, my sweets. It sucks. So I was thinking about what I want to do next. And I'm really kind of thinking skin. I think we want to do some skin. As much as I want to do the face, I feel like the face will be a lot more fun to do later. And I'm in the mood to do some skin. You know. This stuff smells so bad. Oh boy, I gotta say, I like Titebond a lot. If you are needing a lot of like multi-purpose glue, this is great. If you're wanting to water it down and use it like I do, this is not great. But lessons learned, mainly because it just gets really chunky. And it still works, it's just kind of like, don't have as much control. Whereas like Eileen's tacky glue, it very much multi-pass, reverse flaying. Oh no, watch out, I'm thinking. It's time for the skin. It's reverse flaying. It is flaying in reverse. Where, oh where are my scissors at? The joke is I've got like 6 pairs. A couple of them don't have a sticker on them to tell me what I can use them for, so I just continually am doing what I'm trying to tell people not to do. But we're too far past that, so I'm grabbing the ones that are labeled whatever. Whatever. Man, they're pretty dull. I like a nice pair of dull scissors. Oh, good grief. Wah. I'm going to put some gloves on. I don't want to be covered in this. This is stinky. That's the thing. You get stinky stuff on your hands. If it's really stinky, it just goes in there. It just absorbs into your skin. And then your hands smell stinky. You don't want stinky hands, trust me. Well, I don't. I don't want stinky hands. You might. That's fine. If you like that, that you do you, boo. Don't touch me. Don't touch me with those hands, though. Everybody loves glove time. All righty. Jingling-a-ling. Oh, grief. Oh, good grief. That needs to be wetter. I should let it sit in the other side real quick. And I might, oh, nope, never mind, I shouldn't. We're doing it. Okay, it's good. It's gotta get wet enough to where it starts to tear on its own when you start pulling it. That is where we really get the kind of skin texture that I really like for these awful gripplies. And then we're going to take just a little bit of super glue. Just a little bit. Don't tell nobody. It's a secret. It's a family secret passed down for generations. We do all the deflaying ourselves here. Right, son? He's still brooding. That's my boy. Yep. It's gonna be gross. Grief, grief, grief. And then we're gonna want to take some tweezers. We're gonna tease. We're just gonna tease it. Too much of a tease. There we go. Key is to be just enough of a tease. Keep them guessing. Keep them wanting more. Grief. Yep. That's good. Grief, 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 grief. Grief, grief. Gotta get my gloves wet. Oh no! Okay, there we go. Yeah, that way we can see a little bit. It's gonna look awful. Yay. So we want to grab the other side and kind of pull on there as well. But we don't want to mess up what we've already touched. It's tricky. Good morning. How are you, my good sir? Double hair. You're just in time for the deflaying. Man, I don't know. If you go somewhere like an apostle situation, you're on like an island, and you're like, man, I know there's some sketchy shit there. And you're like, we're going to do a deflaying. Is that like medieval skin grafts? Is it a good thing? Medieval Skin Grafts is my new band name. That's a pretty solid one. Alrighty. I'm gonna go ahead and cut a couple strips of this. Okay, this morning, I think. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's a little stressed yesterday, but today I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling optimistic, hopeful. I'm feeling hopeful. We're putting skin on the grief. Watch them play one and put it on the last one. Never-ending loop. That's pretty much it. I think that would, yeah. That is when I assume, I'm like, okay, there's going to be a deflaying. I assume there had to have been a flaying. I don't know if I want to go. I don't think I want to go to that. And Grief's just like, it'll be funny. I've been practicing these jokes. Come on. Support me. Come to my art showing. These are Grief's thoughts. Don't go. Don't go to Grief's art showing. You're going to be upset. Yeah, something like that. And that's where we get our skins from. Gotta put them in, you know. Wow. So this is packing paper, for anyone that is curious. When you order stuff, and they're like, hey, we don't use bubble wrap anymore, we use brown paper. That is what this is. I've just got a very large amount of it that I've saved, and I use it for skin. I use it for cloaks. My Visterian gang, that is what their cloaks are made of. My very first process, I switched to using foil for a lot of things because it is easier and it is quicker by certain. But my Visterian gang, originally all their clothes are made with that paper. And technically, I guess my first attempt at making robes look more accurate than they do if they are made of plastic and all part of the same mold. The very first attempt that I made was with cardstock, not cardstock. Cardstock would have been good. It would have been in between. It was styrene, so just plastic card, and green stuff. And it still had just as much of a rigid look as, and that's my fate. And I'll go grab those just to give them as an example while we're letting that paper soak. Ow. Ow, almost tripped, and then I almost closed my hands in a box. Hi, Theo. Theo in the dark. What's he doing? Theo in the dark. What's he doing? The blinding light. Okay. I have my examples. So, here is my first attempt at making robes. And as you can see, they have very hard lines in certain spots. And that definitely bothered me. And then the actual arms are green stuffed to some parts. And I just couldn't get that to look right in my head no matter how often I looked at it. So that eventually led me to doing this, which was using the closest thing like available that I think could be manipulated in the way that I was wanting to. So that was paper. Paper is very thin. It matches the right depth and the texture especially. So I was really happy with these whenever I first did them, and I am still very happy with them. I do love this group. But for things that need to be flowing and need to be not attached, I think foil is just my preferred. However, with Grief, it's very clearly it needs to be the paper because it needs to look like it's sloughing off. Which, going back to that, man, I could have sworn I brought my giant bottle. I did. I got to fill this baby up. Let's see. Watch them flay. Want to put it on it. Deflaying is an extension of whole clone organ transplants. Yeah, it really is. Deflaying is like, yeah, because skin is an organ. Like I'm pretty sure it's an organ. Smart. Thank you. So, from here, we're gonna just start wrapping it around. That's too much. Let's go to the other side with that one. And then I'm going to use a little bit of glue, just a little bit. Just a little bit of glue to kind of hold it in place while the rest of the glue that it's just soaking in dries. Also, key difference between the paper method and using foil. Foil still has a lot of properties that are similar, but being able to press the paper into itself to merge pieces very smoothly or not is something that you do get that you do not get out of just foil. So being able to like continue to almost paper mache on top of it really helps bring a unified look to certain pieces, or it's easy to remove that if that's the goal. Just a little bit in there. I'm gonna start pulling this. There we go. Just a little bit of super glue. And since super glue really doesn't like being wet, or it likes being wet way too much, typically the super glue that I put on here is going to be very quick to set and help me get the shape that I'm wanting and keep working. So that's another reason I really like it. Yeah, that's gonna be awful. It's already looking awful. With the rough green, like clay underneath being bumpy and rigid, it definitely highlights the irregularity that I'm trying to get with the skin, which was something I thought about and why I did not want to go back over it and make it clearer, because I did want it to look wrong. I was second guessing myself at certain points though. Absolutely, I want that to be known. And that's really so much of it, is just trying new things and not being afraid to waste the time, because it's not wasting time trying new things. You're learning. You're learning what does and doesn't work. Now, if you think something that's just not going to work out the gate, and reason would tell you that that's the case, then yeah, that would be, don't do that. Choose the things that you try to solve. Make them real problems in your life and in your art. Yep, that's good. And just to kind of lock all that in place, I'm going to give it a little spritz. Good morning. Oh, wait, okay. Smart. Good morning. Birthday. I'm home alone crafting. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Gardner. Merry Birthmas. That's wonderful. Happy birthday. Yeah, that looks awful. I love it. I love it. Okay. Grief. Thank you. I quit my job taking the week off before I start a new one. Hell yeah. Now you're really in birthday mode. Birthday mode. Step 1, quit your job. Step 2, remember when you were born. What am I doing? I don't want to use my little tools. My tools? Okay. Man, I'm loving it. So we need a whole lot of paper down here, but I'm trying to think of what to do with this piece, given the current part that I'm working on. I think honestly, that will be good. I think I need to build that up a little bit more. Soak the paper. Oh no, big old chunks of glue. That's what I'm talking about. It's just apparently Titebond's general purpose glue does not mix well with water. It likes to separate. So you gotta stir it either really good or be okay with having it kind of be chunky. And in this situation, I'm okay with it. Step 1, quit your job. Step 2, remember your birth. Step 3, existential crisis. Step 4, I was gonna say profit, but it's not profit. It's like a mental profit. Remember who you are, Simba. Mufasa. Ooh, say it again. Mufasa. So I did not realize, like, Scar in that movie is, like, he has a black mane, not just for, like, aesthetic. Like that's a thing that lions, sometimes, like a male lion will grow very big and have dark hair, and it's not all lions, but there was an episode of Extinct or Alive where they were looking for a relative of, I'm trying to remember what kind of lion that's supposed to be extinct, but they had it might have been the African black maned lion. That might be step 4, make shit that makes you happy. Bam. Step 4, profit. That's good. Profit, but not the way that you think it's being said. Same word. You got to see it spelled out. That's good. I like that a lot. Profit. So, but yeah, lions. Sometimes a male lion that is not the, like, I guess the alpha, will essentially grow and adapt to having to live on its own. So they have, like, thicker manes. They get really, really big, very aggressive. But yeah, apparently that also is, like, possibly a thing that just happens in lions, and then possibly a mix, and it could be predetermined, given that, but it could just be something that has African black mane lion blood in it, which would also explain why it probably was more aggressive, because again, it's got more of that dog in it, as they say, as they often say about lions. He got more of that dog in him. Step 5, start streaming, become blue dry muscle. Blue dry muscle. Blue dried muscle. I can't stress the picture that I posted of the saint from Blasphemous 2. Like, as soon as I went back and gave her, like, a second blood vial, I was like, why are they degloving your hand? I was like, this is going to end up as a RedWetSkeleton, and I'm so here for it. Told my wife that's my retirement goal. Hell yeah, man. That's do what makes you happy. Contribute to the world in the best way that you can. That I feel like should be the goal, the life goal, is to be an active member of your own life and try to help others in any way that you can, regardless of how little sense it might make to other people. I think that's the goal. That's my goal. I'm still working on it, so it's a never-ending goal, and that's another good goal to have. The moment you stop giving up, or like you don't have goals, you just kind of sink in. At least I do. I'm not saying that for anybody. It's just, it's hard, but you got to do it for you. Real talk. Does not get any easier unless you put in the time to build up those quote-unquote muscles. From here, I'm just kind of coating this in a little bit more super glue to give it more stability and really kind of lock in those shapes. And this is where I'm like, oh yeah, I've definitely almost given myself a good cyanoacrylate burn. See it smoking? It's a lot of super glue on there. That's not fun. You don't want to get burnt. Give me that hair. Hair doesn't go there. Grief, 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 grief. Now the fingers. I've got to pee again. I drank too much coffee. I'm not going to hold it. So how much do you think you have left on this bad boy time-wise? I don't know. Painting minis and painting terrain. Hell yeah, dude. Like, I don't know. Not long. We're going to start painting this week for sure. Like, we absolutely will be painting on this guy in a day or two, I'd say. Now, whether or not we have to go back and add more stuff on there is maybe, but I think today I'm going to keep putting skin on here, and I'm pretty sure that we can get the body, maybe not the fingers because those are going to be a little tricky, but we can get the body at least skinned or de-skinned. Gotcha, thank you. Now you should urinate. I should. I'll be right back. I'm going to leave. I'm going to take the gloves off. I don't want pee hand gloves. I will be right back. I'm going to leave this on. Grief, tell some jokes. Appropriate ones. The light stuff. Keep falling down, quick. Gotta tie it. Gotta take my pants. Beep, boop, ah. Alright, I'm back. Pun master. Oh yeah, good grief. Drum roll. Grief would be a pun master. Or do Ronnie Dangerfield bits. Yeah. Oh no, he's gonna show up with you with no pants. Show up with no pants. Oh no. Good grief, he's naked. I'm gonna do balloon animals. I could do balloon animals if you guys want to see a balloon animal. I gotta be really careful though, because it cannot pop or it'll scare all my babies and maybe the neighbors, and then they'll call the cops and they'll be here in like a minute because they're right down the street. And I'll be like, no, I was making balloon animals on stream. I'm like a clown kind of, but like not a creepy clown, but absolutely a creepy clown, but not the kind of creepy clown that you think of when you think of creepy clown. Like the fun kind of creepy clown. And they'd be like, sir, we're going to have to look in your house. And be like, shit, I said too much. My yapping. Cursed. Cursed with the gift of gab. An E-clown. Fuck, that's good. Oh yeah, no, I'm an E-clown. That's good. I really like that. Whim dark clown. I'm more of a whim dark clown. Not really grim. Whimsical and dark, yes. Griefy? A griefy clown. Oh no, grief, your clothes. The king's clothes. Yeah, that looks good, grief. Gotta put your pants on, gotta go to work, gotta have a job as a clown. Grief. Grief, grief, grief. So definitely want to kind of push that in so we can see those bones. As far as the spine and whatnot, and what have you, as they say. The spine and what have you. Super glue. Activate. Form of cyanoacrylate. And we are just gluing this. We'll do the pool stuff here in a little bit. We'll go down to the pool stuff. Okay, pulling this way. Scoop, scoop, squat. Scoop, scoop, scoop. Beep. Boop. What kind of clown just makes space noises? Beep, boop. Awful. That is awful looking. It's going to look way worse when it's painted. Robot clown. I guess a robot clown, yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty beep boop. It should be a robot clown, yeah. Now that's a robot we need. I can't stress enough. That's what we need. We need AI to start telling jokes. Like sentient jokes. Like it's aware enough to make jokes. That's what we need. That might fix some things. So you can understand how truly horrifying what you've made is. Robot clown. Because again, not human. And it's so, when you ask AI to make art, I love it because it clearly explains, okay, we don't know enough about people to make fake people yet. Clearly. Because something went very, very, very wrong. Because it just makes nightmare fuel. Nightmare fuel. Nightmare fool. Get those little piggies on there. Come on, grief. Good grief. Psst. Hit it with a little psst. Dog, you just wait. Just you wait. Jeff will roll out up the next flex patch. Oh, man. You really know. AI clown. Clown bot. Ha. 1000. That's so good. I know what society needs. I've got all the answers. You don't want them. I can give them to you in jokes. Rebranded dad jokes isn't all Alexa tells me. That sounds very right, which is disappointing on a lot of levels. You want good dad jokes. Grief's got them in spades. Biggest one is spite. That's my biggest dad joke. Not to drop some lore on you there, but that's what spite is. It's never not funny when one of the bells jingles. And I feel like that's a bit of the act as well. You got to be a prop comic. You got to have some props so you can explain the stories. When your jokes are that messed up, you need a lot of help. Metaphorically and not. Super glue, come on, don't fail me now. Oh no! You failed me. Give me that. You goof. You goofball. Come on, grief. Good grief. I gotta say, come on. Come on, Jeff, we can do better. AI jokes that just are rebranded dad jokes. You can't fix lack of a father with fake dad jokes from a robot. Dad jokes are only good when they're like from a dad, I think. Because that's what makes it funny, is like you only laugh because you're like, I know you're trying. Is that too real? Is that too real? I don't know. That's the only time they're funny, I feel like, is when you're like, oh yeah, that's not really funny, but oh boy, you're trying. You're there and you're trying. Did I just unlock what dad jokes are? Beg to differ. I'm sorry, Mowgli. I don't have much experience with dad jokes outside of what my wife tells me. But I would love to hear your take. I don't mean to be too hostile. I don't mean to be hostile. It's just an observation. Unless you're saying that you got some really good dad jokes, in which case, let me hear them. Oh boy. Oh grief. Yeah, it's taking shape. It's getting awful. No dad jokes? No one's got any dad jokes for me? Did I run everybody off? I'm so sorry. Oh, I don't have a dad. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Mowgli. Also, shout out to everyone out there doing dad jokes. That's also an observation of like, can't stress enough. Being a dad is like 99% just fucking being there, uh, and doing your best. That's what being a parent is, in my opinion. Do your best. Be there. Not to get too heavy. Man, dad jokes opened up a whole heavier pit than I thought they would. Grief jokes. That was a grief joke. Come on. I need to pull that. But I need to pull that while holding it so I don't tear it even further. Isn't that the truth? Yeah, it's... Oh boy. I'll be your dad if you need one. I'm good. I'm good. I like the BYOD. Be your own dad. Mm-hmm. BSOD, be someone else's dad, Papa. As I told Steve, Hive Scum Steve, and he said, I don't like that. It's like they say, you don't get to choose your dad, but you get to choose your daddy. And then he said, oh, I don't like that. Which was, I think, said right after I brought the Paramore out at the event, or frustration. I don't remember which one. Yeah, that's good. Oh boy. Oh, grief. Grief wears the pants in this family. BSOD. Be someone else. That'd be BSED, wouldn't it? Be someone dad. Be someone dad. Be somebody's other dad. I am a dad. I have 2 boys. Congratulations. And I don't mean that like not sincerely. I mean like, yeah, like I get it. Like based on our discussions, I would think that you are a good person and would raise good children. I know that's not enough of a short conversations are not enough to make decisions about entire people. I realize that. I just can't stress enough. Yeah, not trying to hate on dads that give a shit, even remotely. That's not what I'm saying. It can be misconstrued, but no, I think being around and being there, being around for the oh, I screwed it up, and you just had to come back to the comment to recognize it. As a brother of a 2-son household growing up, I'm sorry, Gardner. Yeah, I think not to get even heavier, but yeah, that seriously is. I think teaching people is like one of the biggest like things of parenting is you're supposed to teach and like make them understand the world in the best capability so that they can carry on. And it's very clear when you meet someone who's like father figure did not teach them a lot of things that they probably should have known. But that's not a generalization. So please never take that as like a dunking on anyone who has kids. It's more of a lot of people don't understand the responsibility that you take when you bring another life into this world, not just for yourself, but for everyone else. Because if you do not teach them as by example, which is so important in like early fundamental years. You can raise some real monsters, and it's hard. I can't stress that enough. Raising somebody to teach them how to be in the world is hard as shit, especially the stuff you don't want to have to deal with because it's like sensitive subjects, or it's just tough because it's like, man, I'm still trying to process this. How do I answer a question that they have without traumatizing them? And that's why I cannot stress enough. I'm not good at not giving answers, so that's just a very big. If I think I know the answer to something, I'll tell you. If you're asking, regardless of how old you are, because it's just like I think knowledge is very important. So yeah, that's what that was. As they say, it takes a village. I can't stress enough. Yeah, I was the only male in the house. 3 generations of women. Growing up was fun. Same. That's like I've never had until I moved out. Like my roommate was the first like other male that I've ever lived with. Be sure to pass the baby around your local coffee shop. Yes, it takes a village. Here you go. It's your turn. I don't know who this baby is. Yeah, me either, really. That's it. Yeah, I don't ever want anyone to think that I'm dunking on parents. Be a good parent, and you have my support. Undying. Like that's the whole thing. It's just more of a. I got put down a lot for not having a dad growing up, so it's just like making sure that people understand that that's not something that they have any control over. It's very important to me, and not anything that you should feel bad about. Everybody's life is different, but the same insult was ironically used by people that's just like, man, you clearly. I didn't have a dad. You didn't have a father figure, and those come in all manner of shapes and sizes, which is really where I love I guess the term daddy, because it's a father figure that cares about you in one manner or the other, that chooses to be involved versus, and that's it's also, I mean, it's the same thing with like, kids calling their dad daddy. That's not weird, because dad does not do justice to the word of someone that like cares about you enough to do the wrong, like the hard shit. Like, yeah, it's just you gotta be there for your kids. My mom took off. Oh, I am sorry to hear that. I was raised by my dad and his BF. Oh, I hate the term daddy though. Yeah, my mom took off. No, I'm sorry to hear that. I've only had like female like paternal figures in my life, with the exception of like my uncle, who's very much like a closest thing to a father figure I've had. But again, which is also probably why I tend to get along really well with older dudes, because they've also kind of learned, like, man, you got to talk about shit and you can't be closed-minded. You have to be open-minded to admit when you're wrong, because that just leads to more shit. So that's where a lot of I cannot stress enough, I'm not doubting or, putting down like anyone's like parenting capacity. Cannot stress that enough. It's just more of a make sure you love the right people. That's all I'm saying. That's it. I think love is a very misused word often. And not to get really heavy, but we can go there. I was discussing with my wife yesterday that like my opinions on love are pretty clear. It's just how much do I know I love something, for me has always been how upset will I be when it's gone. That is how I have looked at things and how I've looked at love my whole life, is knowing that things are finite and trying to anticipate the pain that I know is going to come no matter what at some point in time. So that has shaped my worldview on so many things, and has made me to try to be appreciative when I can. But again, the world is hard. So it's just that I think we throw out words a lot that we don't, and that's part of the reason why I love repurposing words. I love that because it's just all, it's the best that we can do with the tools that we have is try to mean what we say. But if you don't fully understand why you say what you say, and that's an issue, and you have to figure that one out. I bet you'd love if we had those outdoor baths they have in other countries, so you could talk story with some old clean dudes during a nice bath. I don't know about all that. I don't want to be in a bath with anybody. Baths are kind of, it's just like you just sit in it. And I don't want to stew. I don't want to be in a stew. I don't want to be in the boy stew, or old man stew. STEW. But serial killers. Sauna? That's really good. Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully all that wasn't too hard or too heavy. Sorry. I apologize about that. Again, I don't mean to ever go too deep or too heavy if someone's not like feeling that right now. But again, it's just like we're making a really traumatic thing here, so I'm probably going to talk about some traumatic stuff. But that's mainly because talking about it helps, and that is what I mean. I think it's important to talk about things that suck to talk about, because if someone does not talk about them and you don't have someone like that, you're going to be really lost when you really need it. That's all I was getting at, and that's what I try to. I definitely have to sprinkle in some really dark humor, because that's a lot of times you just got to kind of laugh about it until you can be okay about it. But understanding the situation from as good of a stance as you can is very key before you make any observations or make any jokes. Yeah, that's my thoughts on that. I like philosophy. Yes, I'm only a little teary, but it might just be tiredness. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, it's just that. It's very weird because, like, growing up like without a father, and I'm sure it can be the same the other way. It's just society has expectations of who you are going to be based on things that you have learned from your parents. And if you don't have one of them, you're going to miss a lot of education that the other one probably can't tell you. But the other one also is going to do a lot of the things that supposedly are only supposed to be done by the other. And you realize pretty quickly how much that doesn't really make any sense. And you kind of start to pick out flaws in other people's thinking. And that can lead absolutely to spite. So I really don't want anything I say to ever come off as like, I just don't fucking like dads. That's not it at all. Like, I didn't have one. I know a lot of people don't. A lot of people only have that. It's just, it takes all kinds. I just make observations. Otherwise, a meth head. His absence taught me more of who I am. So that's it. So that's, grew up without a mom here, so I adopted another cat. She's basically just as good. That's it. You need to understand what you need out of a relationship. That's it. But yeah, I absolutely know that. I cannot stress enough that I know that I am a better person because I did not have my actual father around. And that's like kind of hard to take in, but it's just like, again, I want to make sure that other people know. It's like, yeah, you can, you do not have to be from one, cookie cutter cast that society might want to tell you that you have to be good. And the more and more people that put you down for anything like that, the more I hope that at one point in time you notice they're wrong. That's it. But no, I was not trying to disparage any fathers, any mothers either. I can't stress enough, it's hard to raise a human being. Insanely difficult. And you can still do everything quote unquote right as well as you thought, and they turn out to be a serial killer. That's utterly horrifying to me. But we are complex animals. Um, that was what my little rant was all about. So hopefully no one took that offensive. I don't mean for it to be. The world is a complex place, very complicated. Like grief, it's complicated. Sometimes it's really funny. Other times it's really not funny. Uh, Hugs. No. Yeah. I really hope that did not offend you, Gardner. I was not trying to at all. Um, or any other fathers that are listening. My buddy Tyler, I can't stress enough. Uh, it's a good dad. Like Chris, I can't stress enough. Subpar Chris made a huge impression on me because it was just like, man, I can't imagine how little or how much that would mean to me. Or he was just like, I'm sorry. You're afraid of hugs? Oh no. I'm okay. Uh, no, I do like hugs. They go to hug you and you don't see it coming. Yeah, I gotta say, physical contact with people can often be very overwhelming for people that are not used to it. Um, and as someone that is extremely sensitive, like my senses are very heightened, uh, and I've come to terms with that. Like, and it has really helped me deal with shit around me, which is like, oh man, I'm like, I mean, sense of touch, like everything is like kind of at an 11, and it's very overwhelming. To the point that apparently as a child, I used to be really afraid to get my hair cut because I said I could feel it, and I can't stress enough. It's kind of disturbing. I don't know because I feel like I might be, desensitized at this point from that. But I think I might have been able to feel my hair getting cut, and that is kind of horrifying because apparently I would scream like it was cutting me. Uh, but a lot of that is definitely some mental trauma, I'm sure. Um, I'm just sensitive. I'm just sensitive. Uh, yeah, man, I was going there somewhere. But that's, yeah, no, I completely get that. I like hugs. But raising a serial killer is a fear of mine. You can raise them perfectly and never know. Maybe watch me ducks. That's it. You nailed it. That's it. And hugging is also something that is very personal. It's very personal, and you're inviting someone in to be as close to you as they can when they give you a hug. Uh, and if you have trained your brain to keep people at a distance mentally, eventually that will bleed over. I'm very firm in my belief, and I'm not saying I'm not a doctor. I'm just saying my observations. I think the more you separate yourself and feel other, the more everything slowly starts to slide into that as well. And that's how we end up with a lot of people not feeling like people. Um, and that's a problem for everyone. I can't stress the short-sighted of seeing to admit where a problem is the first step in actually fixing something. I'm very firm in that belief. Teach empathy. There you go. Hey, everything that I just fucking said, Gardner just kind of explained it. Just teach empathy. Teach empathy in a way that you would want other people to have it towards your children. That's the best parenting advice as someone that helped raise a kid, a sibling, and I'm not taking all the credit for that. I'm just saying, growing up in a single parent household and being the older sibling, you take on a lot more. I'm not blaming that. I'm just saying it is what it is. It teaches you how much another person needs, because you have to give part of what you need away to make sure that they get part of what they need. And that's the same thing with parenting. It's an exchange. I think that's most things. Most things are an exchange. And the quicker I think you get in that mindset, the quicker you want to fix things. It's just being able to look forward at the horrifying shit and accept it for what it is or what it's not. And that is it's hard. I can't stress enough, because especially if you have made a little prison in your mind to be something that is self-sabotaging, which we all do. Like we're very prone to that as a species, and it's a fear response. It's and that's the whole point of being uncomfortable is trying to grow. That's why I enjoy horror so much, is because it taps into something that a lot of people don't want to deal with in a safe consumption, a safe manner to consume, where you physically cannot get hurt, unless you have like a heart attack and stuff. And that is a possibility, but I mean, if you got a weak heart, don't be going to watch Hereditary, dog. That's not Hereditary's problem. There's a joke in there. There's a joke in there. It's a grief joke. I'm sorry, but yeah, Hereditary, but it could be hereditary that it runs in your family, and that's genetics, and that's another thing. You gotta know. You gotta know what's going on with you. Don't be afraid to know. To try and look at something that you're struggling with from a different set of eyes. Now, don't spend there too long. If you're like, wow, that's clearly wrong. Don't hang out there too long. But be aware. I'm yapping. I try to do good though. I'm not perfect. I'm definitely not saying that by any means. If I ever say that I am, please know it is an extreme joke. Like I said, perfectly, but mental health doesn't come from what you're told. That's it. Some people can understand empathy on an intellectual level and still not see the point in practicing it. I'm self-sabotaging as we speak. There you go. I watch Weapons. Kind of love it. Dude, yeah, man. Thanks. I try. I am perfectly me, with all my faults. I can't stress that enough. I think acknowledging faults is important, but do not only do that, and do the best that you can to try and see what other people who like to be around you see in yourself. That's the best advice that I can give. Is like, hey, try to love yourself. And that's fucking hard, because it requires you to look in places that you don't want to look, and to take in the whole picture. And that's something that I think as a species we struggle with, is seeing the whole picture, both for what it is, but also seeing the whole picture. You got to know the name of every tree in the forest if you want to understand, but never lose sight of the forest. And that is mind and ego altering like levels of like work to take on. But that's the easiest way to explain empathy. Well, thank you guys. Yeah, that's the easiest way for me to try to explain empathy. Thank you for coming to my Ted Bear talk, which Ted Bear is Theodore. We're talking about if he ever ran, if he ever ran for any office, we would make sure that he looked presentable. So he would be, hi, I'm Ted Bear. Hi, I'm Ted Bear, and I'm running for city treasurer. I don't know much about money, but I'm going to do my best. And my dad says that that's all it takes. Right, Dad? That's not what I said. All right. Yeah. Vote Ted Bear. It's also short for teddy bear, because he's just a little teddy bear. He's just the cuddliest boy in the whole world. Also very kissy. I can't stress enough. A lot of people have commented on, like, man, your son sure loves giving kisses. And it's very key for you to know that my son is a cat. He is a feline. But man, he loves giving kisses, like to the point that you're like, bud, it's raw. Like you've kissed all the skin off of my nose, and I appreciate you. But it does hurt. Sometimes love hurts. Like when your son kisses your nose with his sandpaper tongue for like 5 minutes straight. He was just like, I don't give kisses when my dad's not home. I don't trust nobody. It's hard to love and appreciate ourselves. In this society, we don't push that, and we should. We're deteriorating in our depressions. I can't stress that enough. Like that's, as someone who struggled with self-loathing, that is the entire reason that I am here, doing the morning hobby hangouts. Oh no, man, I almost called. That's the whole reason. It's just like, I finally think that I've got enough acquainted with myself that like I finally, for the first time in my life, like I like and I love who I am. And I can see good in what I am trying to do and the things that I do. And I want to do anything I can to spread that because I have seen the hell that I have made for myself for most of my life, fully for what it is now. And I don't want anyone to be there. I don't want anyone to feel like they've been taken advantage of and like that they have ended up there, against their best will. So I try to make sure that I put my support where it's needed. And more than anything, just be there. I like the idea of doing the morning hobby hangout. Really comes down to, I think a lot of people need somebody. And if you don't have anyone, I will be here. And I will be working on what I love. And I will tell you my honest opinion about it because I have no reason to lie about it. It's what I love, with the good and the bad. So yeah. Man, we got heavy today. It's grief time though, baby. Everybody knows grief. So I've got the skin that's actually on the legs. We're going to, tomorrow, I think, pick back up here and start doing all the skin that has come off the top that's like being dragged, draped behind grief, like a silly little cape. He's a magician. He's not. Oh, technically, yes. Clowning and magic go hand in hand. I was thinking about this the other day because Kelly and I were talking. I don't think Trixie Mattel went to clown school, but I could be mistaken. But I know that she does her makeup in reference to kabuki theater and clowning. I'm just like, I don't think she's a clown. Now, Jinx Monsoon is a clown, and respect. Clowning is an important tradition. Says the E-Clown. God, I love and I hate that. And that's how you know that I really like it. It's just like, wow, I don't like that, but that is funny. A real life observation, if I ever seen heard one. He barely kissed me while I was watching. It's been really nice seeing you around each morning, man, even though I'm literally 3 hours from where you physically are right now. Oh, houses. I was like, hours? You're 3 hours? I was like, you're 3 houses. Hours. Totally. Her name is Jinx. Yes. Jinx? Did I say something? Yeah, Jinx Monsoon? Yeah, she talks about at some point in time she was like, I didn't go to clown school for blah blah blah, and it's just like, hell yeah, defend that clown school. That is a trades learning how to do a trade. I can't stress enough. Knowing how to do a trade and going to school and learning, because everything that you do is fundamental for the job versus having stuff in there that you're never going to use and that you do not need. That's crazy. Learning how to do something for you because you want to do it and you want to contribute, that's a trade, and that is extremely important. Is there a clown union? There definitely is. I don't know anything about it, but I can almost guarantee that much like magicians with their inner circles that regulate who gets to do magic. Learning how to do a trade is important. After talking about clown school is fucking wild. I can't stress that enough. I value clowns. I value clowns and what they are supposed to bring. And a bad clown is one of the worst things in the world. There's a clown register. I love all of this. This is not where I thought that we would go. I think if you looked at how the things I talk about flow, the whole thing's pretty fucking wild. You're like, man, I didn't think we'd get there. We were working on this guy. Now we're talking about dads. Now we're talking about being a good parent. And now we're defending getting a degree or a sheet, a certification from a proper clown school. A trown school. A trown. What would it be? It would be the town clown? Would a trown be a train clown? Like a boxcar clown? That's great. Love that. Like a door-to-door clown. That's something that we don't need. No one do that. Trout clown. Fuck, that's good. That's really good. I love a good trout clown. I love fish. I think I've gone just full circle now into we've just spiraled into madness. So this is probably where we should stop. I obviously value clowns as well, but it was just crazy to hear. I loved it. You have to put your unique face paint on a wooden egg to register yourself. I'm just a tramp. Dude, that's it. I can't stress enough. We're all just tramp clowns. And the quicker you understand that, the quicker you're like, it's okay. It's okay, man. But yeah, clowning comes from, Harlequins, the jesters. They're all the same. They all come from a long line of. It's the observationist. It's the one that takes things that everyone sees and puts it into a form of humor that other people can appreciate, that they feel safe watching, and they don't have to take on the blame themselves. And the clown bears all of the negativity, and that's very important, I think. And obviously, that can go really wrong, or we wouldn't have so many crazy clowns. It's kind of like a postal worker. I'm not calling postal workers clowns, but I'm saying if you don't appreciate something that someone does enough, it's very easy for that person to become disgruntled. You don't want to be disgruntled. You want everyone to be nice and gruntled. But now that is a grief joke. I did not mean to come at grief like that and poke him hard. But clown as a sin eater. Fuck yeah, I'm here for it. That sounds great. That sounds great. I love that. Man, we need more clowns in Trench Crusade. And I mean grim, dark kind of clowns. Self-aware kind of clowns. Not, well, I mean, I'm not diminishing any form of clown. Yeah, I think this is pretty much as good of a spot to stop as I'm gonna find. Just in between just spews of madness and tramp. Love a good tramp clown. Grief's gonna leave if you keep making fun of him. I would never. Tramp Crusade. Fuck, there it is. Okay, we got to stop here. We're only gonna be hitting. You can only hit home runs so long before we start dipping. So we gotta stop it here. My throat is just getting dry. I talk too much, but hopefully you all enjoyed it. Oh yeah, this does feel like the time to close out. Thank you for the stream. You guys have a great conversation. Thank you all. No, thank you guys so much for your time. I talk about it. I cannot stress enough. I truly mean it. It is the most important and precious commodity that you have. It is the only thing that I know of that's like, yep, that's fine. You cannot get more of that. So thank you all so much for your time. It means the world to me that you would want to spend it with me. And I hope to be, somebody that you turn to for that. So, hi son, I know I'm signing off. He says, Dad, it's time for cereal. Yeah, thank you guys so much for your time. It means the world to me. Be good to yourselves and to each other, and take care. Sit pretty. I'll be here tomorrow. Look forward to seeing you all. Wonderful. I will. You too. Have a great one. I will see you guys later. Thanks again. Gardner, Just Paper Sam, Possum, Mowgli, Roz. Oh, there's someone else that was up in there. I gotta find him. I think that's it. I think I got everybody. Yes. Roach. Aha. I knew I forgot somebody. Roach. I didn't forget you. I hadn't gotten their list. It was further up. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you all. Have a good one. Take care. Oh no, I think Theo's having a hairball.